Okay, we're live, I guess. Hey guys, welcome
How's it?
to another interview here in the Freedom Group. So today, I've already told you guys in the group who I was going to be talking to, sorry. But we're gonna get to a lot of interesting content. But before we do that, I've known you for quite a while. I mean, we've known each other for what, 8, 10 years or something
Something
like
like that.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's always fun for me when I get to talk to people that I know personally because I see them live their life and I see them do the things and I get to see not just them at a conference speaking about the thing, but I get to watch their everyday life. I get to be a part of it and seeing how what they do actually influence, how what they teach actually influence themselves. And
Oh
if
yeah.
they practice what they preach and all that
Yeah.
stuff. And so one of my favorite things about John and about, hanging out and also working with him is what you see is what you get in such a broad term. It's the things that he teach are things that can be applicable to so many things. I mean,
Right.
you've done work in the erotic sexual domain. You do work in just general success and creating a life and confidence and all this.
Mhm.
And watching how you let that influence all parts of your life, whether it's us being at a party and being silly,
Mhm.
or it's us working on something and taking care of students and being in serious mode, or whatever
Yeah.
it is. So I just wanted you guys to keep in mind as we go through this stuff and as John starts to share the stuff that he talks about, it's not necessarily just the area that we happen to be mentioning that stuff. Like when he shares an idea or a concept, it's applicable to basically everything. So whether you're here for play or for your social life or your relationships or your work or whatever it is, pay attention to this stuff and think about how to implement it in your life and in the way that you live and ask questions if you have any. I'll
Mhm.
be keeping half an eye on the chat as we go through and seeing if any questions come up. I'll do my best to get to them before the end of it.
Yeah.
But why don't you introduce yourself instead of me doing it? Because
Oh yeah. Sure. Hi, I'm John. Let's see. What can I say? I've been teaching workshops called erotic dominance, and it's on dominance. It's on sex. How to be more empowered, be more capable in the bedroom, for lack of better words. Basically the guys that want to learn how to be dominant, they're like, oh, you do the kinky thing. I'm like, yeah, I do that kinky thing. They're like, well, I want to be like you. I want to do that. I'm like, oh, okay. So when I teach them like the 3 pillars of dominance, which is like knowing what you want, being clear, having clarity, and also being able to be embodied in who you are, and to be willing to lead your partner, take them further than they're willing to go to, and also the depth of connection, because you have to have connection in order to play. And the kind of play that I do is not just, hey, we're hanging out, we're kissing, and it's also like tying someone up, so there's risks. And so people are really putting themselves and surrendering themselves, which gives you a whole new meaning to the word, over to the experience you're creating for them. And that winds up meaning like you have a lot of responsibility. Dominance is just that, lots of responsibility. And it's not work, it's fun that you're creating, but it's also caretaking and managing and curating, a lot of curation. And it's so I've taught that for the last like 7, 8, 9, Jesus Christ, 10 years. So I've done that for a while. Before that, I've been a part of men's groups. I've been part of I was in a men's circle 20 years ago. 20 years, yeah, 20 years ago. 21 years ago. Damn. So I've been doing this for a while. I've been doing men's self-development for a long time. I adamantly refuse to be a coach and refuse to be one of those guys, but I do it my way.
John's been for years saying he didn't want to be the coach guy. He didn't, and people keep just pulling him into it.
Totally.
And he does it so well, and then he finally gave in. And
Yeah.
yeah.
But it's true though. I mean, I can't be in a situation where I'm around somebody and I watch a guy flounder in somewhere in his life, and you can see he doesn't have his tools or access to his tools, and I'll take him aside for just a moment and just talk to him and be like, hey man, the thing, and like, right there's your tool. It's like, oh shit. And then the next thing you know, they're off and running. And I did that growing up for so long, it became just natural, and I have a natural tendency for this. So yeah.
To me, the best coaches out there are the people who can't help themselves. Like
Mhm.
you see something and you can help, you can fix it, and you can't help yourself. You want to do it because that means it's coming from change and not from greed or any of those other things that you see too often in
Oh,
our
it's a little
community.
greedy on my part. I'm a selfish fuck. I want more guys out there doing it right. There's too many. I clean up too many other guys' messes.
Yeah, it's easier for you if the previous guy did it right.
Yeah. But I'd rather have happier women on the planet and have happier women, existing having great experiences. So when they pass along, it's now, oh, it's a challenge to rise, it's to be better. I got something to work up to, or even surpass,
Right.
as opposed to like, oh, you poor thing. Okay, let me help erase.
Exactly. So let's because I was talking to a girlfriend of mine in Norway a couple of days ago, and I mentioned the interview, and I was like, oh, I'm doing another one this week, and she's like, oh, who with? And I said, well, my friend John, and he used to work or he teaches erotic dominance, and she laughed, and she's like, wait, so you're going to talk to a dom about freedom?
Yep.
And I'm like, well, yeah. And I realized she doesn't have the framework that I have, the understanding that I have. So I would love for you to talk to the people on here a little bit about freedom from your perspective.
There's so much. Okay, there's so much to do. All right. There's two aspects to this. 'Cause I don't compartmentalize my life anymore. But one of the things that I've learned early on is to create a safe place to play unsafe inside of. So you're curating the experience for people to relax into and have them experiment, unfold, like try something new, have the freedom to do something they would never do in front of anybody else because they feel safe with you and they know you're not going to judge them and you're not going to make them wrong. And matter of fact, you're going to encourage them and probably, show them things they didn't know. And that gives them the freedom to like relax into a place that they've never allowed for themselves. So there's that aspect of it. And the other aspect for me for freedom is choice, access to choice. And you only have more choice when you free up your thinking and start looking at the world in a way of more solutions, more options, more solutions. And my brain is always looking for the out, the way to fix the thing, the way to make it better, the way to improve the thing. That's good, but what would be better? That's good, but how can we, or does it even need to be better? What would it be like if I did the opposite of that thing? And would that improve the situation? And so I'm always looking for more. I want liquidity, liquidity and choice. I took an NLP class a long, long time ago. And in it, I learned that it really comes down to freeing your mind up and your communication up. So like when you speak, the things you say, if you always say, I always do this, I always do that, I'm like this, I'm like that, things are always like this happens, blah, blah, blah. It's a very fixed frame of the world, and you don't get a lot of choice in that, and you wind up limiting your brain's capacity to do more. So for me, it's like, oh, fuck that. No, I used to be like that, and I'm getting better and better all the time. In the past I had this issue, but I've noticed lately that it has gotten graceful and ease and better. And so I've just learned to reframe my languaging so that I am always at choice. And those around me, I don't let them get away with it around me. It's like, oh, I know that works at home, but don't do that here, because we're in a world of creation. And it's like, let's create play, let's create mischief. My religion is hedonism, and it's like, let's play, let's have all the fun. And yeah.
So you're the way I hear you, or my brain's interpretation of what you're saying is that you always have options, you always have alternatives to what the status quo is or to what the expected thing is. Mm-hmm. And you're always looking for, well, this is the way I'm going. I could also go that way. I could also go this way and that and this. And you're not locking yourself into one reality or one path.
Every time I do that, I'm miserable. Every time I'm stubborn. Every time I know the way to do the thing. Right. I'm cranky, I'm grumpy, everyone around me is cranky and grumpy, and then everyone's like, what's up with John? Why is he being this way? What happened to the guy we know? Oh, fuck.
So for a lot of people, it seems like, to me, I know a lot of the people who's in this group, because I've worked with a lot of them, come to the point where, or the place where they have these habits, and the habits work well enough. Mm-hmm. And so they're safe, and they're comfortable, and they know that they walk down that path, they're going to get to that place. It might not be perfect, might not even be where they want to be, but it's comfortable enough.
Yeah.
So what do you say to the people who are so locked in their thinking, and they don't look for alternatives because any alternative means doing something that's scary, and they're worried or afraid of going outside of their normal routine?
There's two thoughts. One is pin this one, fear. Come back to that one. The other thought is mediocrity leads to laziness. Laziness leads to degradation. Degradation leads to shit.
I like that. That's good.
It's like, it's very easy to get comfortable. Comfort is awesome, but you lose momentum at comfort. And you can get lazy at comfort, and momentum slows down, and the next thing you know, you're not paying attention to your bills, and the world's falling apart, and you've gained 20 pounds, and blah 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 blah. It's like, fuck that.
Right.
But the other aspect is fear, and it's interesting. Right now I'm editing a bunch of interviews for the website and for the YouTube channel, and I just edited Ryan Robinson's interview yesterday, and he pointed something out that's it's something I've believed my whole life, but he put it into words in a way that was fucking just brilliant, and I want to share this. So give credit to Ryan. But basically, fear, I went after my fear at an early age. I was afraid of heights, so rock climbing. I was afraid of sharks. I was afraid of big fish because as a young child, my uncle had caught a big shark at the pier, and the guy got bit and all this bullshit happened, and it was scary, middle of the night. So I went surfing. I learned to surf, and I got in the water, and I've scuba dived now, and my whole thing is address those fears. If you've got a fear, if you've got a concern, that's the direction to point towards. Point towards that fear and face that fucker. Like, tear it down, go at it, because most of the time, fear is an irrational construct that you made in your head at a very young, early age. Like, you were a child. What the fuck did you know about the world then? You were a child who did not understand how tools work. You were a child who didn't understand how money worked. You were a child who didn't understand how, you can protect yourself from the rain, whatever. You were a child, and you didn't know the resources that were available to you, and you made these constructed, cemented, flag in the ground thoughts that are like, this is the way it is, and I'm not going to do it because that's scary. And it's like, thank you, little one. That protected me then. I'm an adult now. And so it's a good idea to turn around and readdress those, because if you address them, if you face them, the analogy that Ryan used was skydiving. And this is the one I'm going to give you. Skydiving is a scary thought for many people because of fear of heights, going up in a plane, flying, like it's all kinds of shit. Jumping out into the middle of nothing, floating in the air, falling to the ground, going splat, like all these rationales to be scared. But everyone that's gone skydiving, once they're on the ground, they are, I love life. It's amazing. That was the best thing ever. And they're so, I want to do this again. How do I do this again? They're pumped on life. They're adrenalized. And they burst through life happy from that point forward. And, whatever life comes happens. But the reality is, you didn't know what that experience was. You created this story about that experience. And then you don't go past it. You would never know the joy and the excitement and the glee of having jumped out of a plane and flew in the air and came to the ground and landed on the ground and saw the beauty that is our world from way up high. Like, there's so much you're missing out on, and you wouldn't know it until you've tried it. It's just like riding a bike. You are always, you're never going to learn to ride a bike till you fall down that last time. And push through that fear of falling down, push through that fear of not knowing. And then there's the competence that comes from pushing through that fear. And then the excitement of prowess, the excitement of, I can do this. And the excitement of learning the skill to become better and better at the thing. And then suddenly you have like, I did that. So for me, yeah, that's hope that answers the question.
Absolutely. So because I couldn't agree more. Like the fears that we have are in our mind. We create them through our thoughts. Usually, if they're habitual fears that we've had for a long time, as you say, they were created as we were children, and we just carry them with us. And we, I was scared of strangers for the longest time in my life because when I was a kid, don't talk to strangers because they might kill you.
Yeah. And
carry that into mid-20s before I realized that I was actually afraid of strangers, and I needed to fix that because strangers aren't dangerous, most of them anyway.
Most of them.
So yeah, we carry these things with us, and I completely agree with the whole, facing them, and it's the whole idea of, if something scares you, you should probably explore it. You should probably figure out what that thing is and then get to know it better. But then you have the other side of the coin, the people who would say that, they're not scared of it. It's just they don't have the energy. They don't have the time. They don't have the surplus of resources or whatever. So, I mean, you and I both live lives with adventure, and there's always something coming up.
There's always something to do.
We're going to Mexico soon. I'm assuming you're going to.
Yep.
And like the whole thing. And we still have, like, I run the company. I'm married. We have all these things going on, but to me, because I was stumped by this question a little while ago, a couple of years ago. Someone, but how do I do that? How do I have all those things, use all those resources of mine, and then still keep coming up with new alternate lifestyles or testing new things? So how, and I know you're good at this, which is why I'm bringing it up. How do people clear out the clutter that is distracting them from the things that are actually important to focus on in life?
So I belong to a men's group called Forge, and it's easy to have the clutter in your life, like all the unfinished shit, right? Unfinished stuff, like the car and the insurance and the bill and the blah, 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 the unfinished conversation with mom or dad or cousin or brother or whatever. And that stuff just stacks energy, right? It just it dominates in the background. It's like, it's the monkey chatter in your head, right? So when you join our group Forge, we call this the first season. When you join us, every man has to go through the gauntlet. Pardon me. And the gauntlet is a 90-day challenge. It is become the master of your domain workout. And basically what you wind up doing is going through the entirety of your life, from cleaning your house, cleaning your garage, cleaning your backyard, cleaning out the fucking car, like handling your insurance, making arrangements for bills, figuring out your debt, making a plan for retirement, getting a will, getting your visa, not your visa, your passport, getting, or the visa, getting your birth certificate if you don't have your damn birth certificate, getting your social security, getting all that paperwork you're supposed to have, having a safe that's a fire safe. Oh, what? I got to keep my documents safe somewhere? What? There's all these little steps that you think you're supposed to do, right? This is what you're told. You have to have this in place. And a lot of us don't do it. But when you come to Forge and you join the group, you got 90 days to get that shit done, because you wouldn't master your own domain. And the other thing about us that we do that is important, it's a part of our ecology, is you be your word and you be on time. So your word is everything. Without your word, there's no accountability. Without accountability, we can't trust your commitment. So you go through the process of filling out this form one time, not every month, not every 3 weeks. I mean, you should see my garage now. But the reality is, you go through it one time and you organize it once. You get it handled once. You become the master of your domain one time. And what's crazy is all of the childhood, teenage, backdoor bullshit excuses you give yourself show up. And we call this season the death of the teenager, because time isn't waiting for you to get shit done. You got 90 days. And if you value joining this group, you got to get this shit done in 90 days, which means you got to meet all the little commitments in between all the way down the line. So you have to be your word. And with our group, we support you. We help you get through that. And it's a crazy time, but the way we operate is, and this was very helpful. The story is not important. The why is not important. The excuse is not important. It's never important to what's going on. It's the way that a lot of people like to relate with other people that are in the same boat as them. Like, we relate at the suffering, we relate at the complaint, we relate at the thing that's going wrong. But that's not useful. All that is time killing. So for us, the story doesn't matter. Let's not get into it. Instead, let's ask you, what are you going to do next? So that happened. So what are you going to do next? So that happened. So what are you going to do next? And when you get into the headspace of like, my sharing the story is not useful, I don't need to do it, it really didn't matter. Especially, it won't matter at all if I do this thing right now and it's done tomorrow. If it's done tomorrow, none of that shit matters. Oh, I can clear this off my table. Oh, I can clear this off my table. Oh, I can clear, holy shit, all this stuff is done? And all that monkey chatter just dies. All that monkey chatter, excuses, all of the mom and dad in your head yelling at you or whatever fucking guilt trippy bullshit you got going on. Like, all that just melts away. And now you're like, I've got a level playing field. I can build on this. And suddenly you free your time.
Yeah, because so many people they beat themselves up over and over for not having done that thing yesterday, and then they don't do it today either. And so tomorrow they're going to beat themselves up
some more.
Again.
But beating yourself up doesn't accomplish the damn thing.
Exactly.
The same time and energy you spend on complaining to yourself or beating yourself up or you could choose something different. You could choose, okay, I could drop and do 50 push-ups. I'll just do some push-ups right now. Instead of beating myself up, just do some push-ups. That stupid, silly task. Or I'm going to clean the kitchen. I'm going to clean the toilet. I'm going to do something I really don't want to do.
Get out of your own mind. And
that's done. Do
something.
something. Just do a stupid task. Do something. And then you go, okay, so that's done. So what's next? Right. What are the next steps? And you could be thinking about the next steps while you're doing the push-ups, or doing, crunches or whatever the hell you're doing. And then once you get through it, and you've seen me do crunches and push-ups in fucking restaurants and bars and wherever, because my word is my word. But like, yeah. So when I break my word, that's one of the things we do in Forge is like we do push-ups and we do crunches, we do sit-ups, that kind of stuff. But when you get out of your way, don't let yourself on yourself, and then you're like, while you're doing the dumb task, think about the next steps. Then when you get up, you're like, okay, let's do this. Let's get this done. And it's surprising how quickly you can accomplish something when you're not giving yourself permission to complain about it not getting done.
To me, it seems like anytime any of my friends or myself or my clients want to talk about the excuses, it's either to get beat up by someone else, they can, or to get that no, it's fine, and get have the excuse for the excuse, or it's simply a way to procrastinate more
and relate. There's also the relating part. A lot of people have that. That's because I grew up with a lot of people that's how they related. They didn't share anything else but the complaints.
Yeah.
I'm like,
they complain to each other, and then they feel better because the other person understands the complaint and they allow it because they respond in kind.
Yeah.
And a lot of people seem to use this as a way of just procrastinating. Like, instead of actually doing something now, I'm going to talk about the thing I didn't do.
Yeah.
And so I talk a lot about
the plan to do the plan.
Yeah. So I talk a lot about wanting to versus choosing to. And I talk about, well, you don't have to want to do something in order to do it. You have to choose to do it, and then do it whether you want to or not. Like you were saying, you don't have to want to clean the kitchen. We clean the fucking kitchen, and then you get things done. Yeah. And so so that plays very well into that. For those of you who are on my online program, you've been through that a couple of times by now. So that's perfect. So that's great. And one of the things that I always enjoy hearing you talk about when we do workshops together is, and it's not just because of the tasks you give the guys, which is funny sometimes, but you talk about knowing what you want.
Yes. And
that to me is such an important topic, because a lot of people are like, well, I want that thing, but that's not what you're talking about. You go way deeper than that. So would you be willing to go into knowing what you want and what that principle actually means?
Yeah. Okay. So for example, knowing what you want. So it's knowing what you want, feeling your partner, if you want to go further than they are. Those are the three principles. But knowing what you want is understanding your wants and desires so well that you can give clear instructions to somebody else on how to do that thing for you, or get that thing for you, or make that thing happen for you. And it sounds like an easy task, but the quickest, easiest example that I can give is make me a cup of coffee. So someone goes away and they bring you back something that you would never drink because it's no cream, or it has too much cream. It has stevia, or has sweet and low instead of like real sugar, or has, peppermint something in it and you hate peppermint, like whatever. But they came back happy and enthusiastic, and it's like, here you go. And you're like, I didn't want this. Well, whose fault is that? It's not theirs. They were enthusiastic and willing to help you and do the damn thing. You didn't communicate your wants clearly enough in such a way, and I get called on this. I get called on this because my wife, I trained her for 21 years, right? But it's valuable, and it's important, because when you get very clear about your desires and clear about how you like things and clear about your tastes and the way you want the world to be, like how you expect things to be, you can walk freely in your world now, knowing that when someone comes to you, either in a time of need or when you're in a time of need and they come to you, you can go, oh God, yes, I could use the help. And here's the help I need specifically. Here's the help I need around this thing. And the glorious thing about this planet is that most people want to help, right? I love helping. You love helping. Wouldn't it be great if you got clear instructions when someone asked for help? It wouldn't it be great if you came back successfully with the task done and said, here's the thing, and they went, that's exactly what I wanted, or that's even more than I wanted. It's because you got good instructions. So from my frame is, get clear in your wants and desires, from like your clothing to your hair product to like the kind of bed you want to sleep in to like the kind of, everything. Know your restaurants in the nearest 5 miles that you like. So when someone says, hey, I want French, oh dude, here's the place, go over here, or oh, sushi, I got the joint for you, or when someone says, I want to eat, because this comes up a lot, it's like this is how men pecking order shit goes in the world. It's like, where do you want to go? I don't know. Where do you want to go?
I don't care.
What do you want to eat?
I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, right? So this shit will go round and round and round between all the motherfuckers there, and no one's making a goddamn decision. And so the opportunity for you to step up is go, I'm thinking about going to getting some Turkish food or maybe some Indian food. What do you think? Does that sound good? Yeah? Mm-hmm. Okay, which one do you like more? Turkish? Indian?
Yeah, let's go with Indian food.
Okay, cool. I'll ask each of these motherfuckers who are in the room and be like, hey, you. Oh, okay, so the majority of us want Turkish food. Sorry, guys, we're going to go Turkish food. I got a great restaurant for us. It's down the road. Let's go here. That is freeing. But it also builds up your status in the world. But if you can do that with more than just a restaurant, that's the example I'm giving. But if you can do that with more than just, food or clothing or, being in that place with your friends where you can do that.
Yeah, I'll say, so first time I heard about you went this deep with it was during one of your talks, probably the first time I met you, the workshop we do here in January. And you talked about this, and I realized that I did not do that. Like I was getting good at asking for what I wanted, and the superficial, because I built my confidence and I was social. So I'm like, no, I want to do this, or I want that thing, or whatever. Mm-hmm. But details, no. You had us, you gave us a scenario, and I participated. I jumped in. I wanted to be part of it. And you gave us a scenario. You're traveling to a different city, and you lose your bags. You go in a meeting. You need your assistants to pick up clothes for you. Tell them what you want. Yeah. And I was like, well, I just need, and I think I said like a suit and a probably white shirt, and that was it. And you're like, but what size?
Yeah.
Oh, and no belt.
Yeah.
And what color shoes? And you kept asking me the questions, and I was freaking out because I was like, well, I should know. I know what clothes I want, but it's hard to. And it was and I was an instructor at this workshop myself.
Yeah.
But it was such wow. I've never thought of it in that depth before.
Yeah. What size shirt do you wear? What size pants do you wear?
Right.
What belt do you have? What kind of socks do you want?
Right.
I mean, what do you want the material to be? Like, there's so much detail that you superficially glance over. Oh, I want, I want a suit and tie. It's like, okay, I'll go to Sears and pick you up a seersucker. Here you go.
And so the interesting thing for me when I learned it, or when I experienced this, was I took it with me, and I was like, well, this is a really cool exercise, and I get what he's talking about, but will it make a big difference in like general area of life? Mm-hmm. And so I took it with me, and I started. And one of the first things, and I remember this still, that I noticed was, for me, when I asked for help, when I asked a question, like even just online in a group, I need help with this mailing list thing. Mm-hmm. I used to just, hey, I can't make this function work. And then people come in and they explain all the difference. I'm like, no, that's not what I want. I don't need help with that. And so I got much better at asking, here's what I need. This is why I need it. And I need it to be in this way.
Yeah.
And so now I get annoyed with people who don't answer that.
Don't answer that.
I gave you all the details you need to help me, and you're still not. So, but that was my first place that I noticed, was when I asked, and not just for like my coffee and stuff, but when I asked for knowledge, when I asked for insight, when I asked for understanding, mm-hmm. I started being much more specific. Because if I was talking to a friend and I couldn't get where they were coming from, instead of going, I don't quite understand, I would go, here's what I don't understand. Here's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Where am I at? Am I in
the right park?
Yeah. My conversations got better. My coaching got better. All of it. And so this isn't, I mean, it's great for coffee and clothes, but as you were pointing out, it's so much more than that.
This is an example I use in a dominance workshop. Okay. And we're about sex and tying people up and spanking them. So this, like, get that frame. Like, this is the thing. Like, dominance isn't just about BDSM and that kind of stuff. People they have this idea that when you think, oh, dominance, you wear leather, you tie people up and you spank them. I'm like, yes. And, there's a lot more to it. It's like saying, oh, you're a carpenter. Well, what kind of carpenter? Do you build houses? Do you make furniture? Or do you make pens? Are you a bowl maker? Do you turn wood? What do you do? So there's a lot of depth to it. And so if you can take the time to explore your wants and desires, it affects everything. It affects like the bedroom, how to get a blowjob, like how, when you start learning your tastes and your desires and you start paying attention to that stuff and it becomes important to you, you learn to be able to A, communicate better, B, make more powerful requests. And you're also able to lead, because leadership involves answers. Leadership involves ideas that are concise and clear, or holding the vision and then getting those around you that can be the detail-oriented people and have them convey that to the rest of the group. And you hold that frame and you're curating that experience. That's not taught in school, and that to me, knowing what you want gives so much freedom, so much choice, so much access to newer tools, because when you know what you want, you can just reach in your back pocket and go, oh, it's this, it's that,
and also, so because you said it leads to so much freedom, and it's, to me, the most fascinating part is when you go out and you ask for what you want as detailed as you can, or as detailed as necessary to get what you want, even when people can't supply that, they will start thinking of ways to get close to it.
Oh, yeah.
So instead of asking, you walk up, you ask for a coffee, and they go, sorry, we're going to have any coffee. You walk up and say, hey, I'd like a coffee with cream and sugar and this, and they have a creamy, sugary drink.
Yeah.
They'll go, we don't have that, but if you want cream and sugary coffee, maybe you will like this thing. And so they start taking the details that you ask for, and they start using their creativity and imagination. They come up with how to use that to give you something that gets close if they can't give you the. And so I find that people who know what they're asking for and know what they want tend to get a lot more of both of what they want and things they maybe didn't know they wanted, or things that were good enough for what they were trying to achieve.
Or new suggestions. Yeah, it's crazy making for me. What is it? When you do get over here, one of the downsides of it is when you go out to the store or you go to the thing and you ask someone for help, and him and han blah 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 blah, and they don't know, and instead of them just saying I don't know,
yeah.
But the advantage is when you get over here, it's just that. It's like, oh, I don't, we don't have that here, but we do have these options, and actually, if you want. Don't leave the store, go down the block, two buildings over, blah, 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 upstairs, third floor. They have these amazing, and it's crazy. You would have never known about that thing. You have never found that thing. I mean, I can't tell you how many times we've learned a new skill, or learned of a new place, or learned of a secret, locals only, whatever thing, because of asking for clarity and asking for good answers. So,
So for a lot of people, I mean, this is all well and good, and people, a lot of people listening to this, I'm sure they're starting to think of things and be more, I hope, be more detailed in what they want. But a lot of people have problems asking for things, and both because they're afraid to, be a bother to people, but also, lack of assertiveness, or lack of feeling like, hey, I have the right to have the things that I want in my life. So what would you say to them?
God, wow, there's so much to say to that. There is really a lot to say to that. You are, it's not blow smoke up your ass here, right? But let's definitely give you the not mom and dad version. You are actually the only version of you. You're the only embodiment of the skill sets that you have on this planet. You have tools and resources and ideas and ways of thinking that none of us have at all. And you're being selfish by hiding out. I'm just going to put it like that. Because when you are shy, when you don't think you're worthy, or when you feel that, don't want to be a bother, when you play tiny and small, you're being extremely selfish. And you're holding back from us. And for all we know out here, you've got that key. You've got that one piece of knowledge. You have that one perspective, and perspective is everything, that could make or break a situation, or make or break the success of our planet. And you have a responsibility to A, improve your life and make your life amazing and great and enjoy your life, and B, to bring your gifts out here. So that may sound like a guilt trip, and I hate that game. I'm not about guilt and shame and blame, but the reality is, this is your chance, and don't sell us all short. Like, you are worth it. You are totally worth being on this planet, breathing this air, drinking this water. Otherwise, you're one of those NPCs out there, and you're wasting my air, and you're wasting my water, and you're wasting my food.
Yeah. And so it's so important. I love that part that you said, that you might have the skills or the insight or perspective to make or break a situation or anything. Because I've seen, working as a coach for 10 years, I've seen so many people that I've worked with that started out holding back on everything. And then suddenly we have a conversation and they open up a little bit, or something clicks or something lets loose, and they say or do something that makes me go, holy shit.
Right.
Wow. Okay. I mean, I'm going to have to take a break now and come back to you because I need to process
a damn thing. Right.
And we're talking about something they hired me to help them with. And it happens so much that it's not a coincidence. It's not that some people have something. Everybody
does. Yeah.
Everyone does. And I like the framing of you being selfish with not sharing that with the world. So to any one of you that are holding back because you're not good enough or any of that other bullshit, you don't deserve it, or it's not important enough, or it's probably not good, fuck it. You need to share it, because the first person you mention something to might not have their minds blown, but someone's gonna have that experience at some point, and you never know what it will jar loose for you or for anyone else.
Yeah, there's a conversation about the leadership and the dominance and the alpha male, blah 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 blah. Like, well, one guy has the answers. Fuck that, dude. It takes teamwork. I will tell you, the more eyes you have on a thing, more eyes you have on a solution. It's the quiet ones. It's inevitably the quiet ones that have like the best fucking God falls out of their mouth. Like the universe, the holy hand grenade. It's like, oh, okay. I didn't know we had the holy hand grenade. Antioch. All right, let's do this. It's, I've been carrying it around all this time. It's like,
when I trained judo. So I did, for those of you who don't know, I did judo internationally for a while in my youth. And it was one of the things that whatever if you're at the top of your game in something, you can look at a room and you can kind of pick out who's at your level, who's there, almost no matter what it is. And so you start noticing how other people who are at a high level or at your level act. And one of the things that we noticed in judo all the time was that the top ones, the best one in Norway where I mostly competed, and the best one internationally, they, no matter who said something, anyone who had a suggestion, they would stop and they would listen and they would consider it and they would test it and then figure out it didn't matter if this guy was a yellow belt and the guy that stopped and listened was a third-degree black belt Olympic champion. Someone speaks up, someone has an idea, a thought, a question, they stop what they're doing, they stop their brain and they listen and they take it in and they consider it, and so often these guys are the best, not just because of physique or exercise, because they process all the information, they pay attention to everyone, and they know that it doesn't matter if you have 1% of my experience. You might have had a thought or an idea, or you might have a perspective or a quality that I never thought of.
Right.
And I want that. I want that for me because it makes me better. So I want anyone who wants to speak up about anything, I want to listen to them, because who knows what I'm going to get from it. And they don't, and I don't until we're done with that conversation. But if they don't say anything, we're both missing out.
Opportunities missed, and it's crazy. So you brought up a thing, and I don't want to fly past that. Mastery, becoming masterful at something, isn't that guy has just got that many years behind him. It's that guy has been putting in the work. He's putting in the effort. He has, done it over and over and over and over, and failed and failed and failed and fucked up and cut his fingers and busted his knees and did the damn thing. And then, aha moment. I'm not going to bust my knuckles no more. Okay, cool. I'm doing the thing. Oh, I'm not falling down no more. Oh, I'm not doing the thing. And it's like failure. I'm not going to do it well. I'm not going to do it good. None of us did. None of us started out that way. You got your ass kicked. You did not kill it in the beginning. You got killed. And you kept going, and you kept going, and you kept going, and you kept grunting through the mess and slogging through the thing. And at one point, you put your head up and went, "I'm alone. Oh wait, I'm still thinking I'm horrible, but everyone back there behind me thinks I'm amazing. Well, let's pause for a second. Oh, I am. I actually am pretty good. Whoa, what did I do? Shit, what did I do?
Right.
So I'm gonna start hanging out with the other guys. What'd you do? I'm gonna listen. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. Oh, right. Yeah, I did that too. Oh, I did it this way. Oh, you did it that way. Let me go try that. Oh, you did this. Oh, and that
Yeah.
happens. It's like
I would say also, contrary to popular belief in the self-development community, a lot of times it's not what you think you are, it's what you're actually doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I get, I mean, I get what people say, you know, people saying you are what you think you are, because in some respects it's true, but in so many others, especially when it's going out there and doing something, being active, an activity, or, you know, a lot of people are, they have a completely deranged idea of where they're actually at. There are a lot of people who think they're really good at something and they're just horrible. And then there's so many people who are really good at it and think they suck because they have. I was working with a client now for the last few months, and the success rate that he's having in his life, he's like, but I'm not, everyone's doing better than me. I'm like,
according to whom?
Yeah, according to, you have this idea, because he thought no one ever failed if they were good at it.
Oh shit, no.
Like he thought it was 100%. If you were good at something, you should be succeeding with it 100% of the times. And so he thought, he came to me because he felt like he needed my coaching, because he, and I'm looking at him, I'm like, you know this as well as I do.
Yeah.
You're, and there's so many people. So yeah, again, it's not always what you think you are. It's quite often what you actually do.
What you're doing, yeah. And this is the thing. It's like getting into the place where you have created a habit or a skill set of doing the thing, and it's the start. Everyone always gets frustrated with the start. They get hung up on the start. Like, how do I start? How to get the thing going? Well, it's literally just getting up and doing it that first time, and then the second time, and then the third time, and then just keep doing it. Like, no, I don't want to get out of bed, and no, I don't want to jump in that cold ass pool, but I need to do my laps. Okay, here we go. Oh, and, you know, but you do your laps, and after a while, you can swim. You know, and after a while you become better at swimming, and after a while you start paying attention to your time, and after a while you decide, well, I don't feel so good about this, I should get a coach. The coach comes along, he sits on the side of the pool and watches you, and when you get out of the pool he says, try doing this, and you get back in the pool. You pay him a lot of money for him to watch you. Right? And then you do the thing, and then you get out of the pool and he goes, your time has improved a little bit, you may want to consider this, you may want to consider that. Right? But you just get up and you get back in and you listen to the coach and you do the thing. It's always about the start. And none of us get to 20 years of doing it like me or him or whatever without putting in that time. And your skills get sloppy if you're lazy. You lose your prowess. So you have to go back and you gotta do your basics, and you got to go back through it and do the thing over again. And then, oh, okay, yeah. Oh, right, yeah, I forgot my rhythm. Oh, I know my rhythm again. Oh, yeah, I got the pattern. Oh, yeah, it's good. Okay, good. We're doing that. And it's consistency. And for some people, it takes, that's a fear, consistency. But if you push through it and you allow yourself to start doing it, you will give yourself more choice. You'll give yourself more options. You'll find more opportunities. And
because development isn't, you never coast towards development. You got to keep working on it. It doesn't matter if you've done it for 20 years or not. You keep working on it. You keep looking at the thing, because as you said, if you don't, it gets sloppy. It rusts and it falls.
It's like computer knowledge. If you don't stay up on what's going on with computers, you get buried. You get lost.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Perfect. So you do, you're basically relaunching your whole company and everything now, which is really exciting. And, and so you guys, I think this is your first, like, now you're speaking on behalf of your new company thing.
Exactly.
So anyone watching this gets the chance to get in on the ground floor of John's relaunch and everything. So tell us a little bit about what you're going to be doing, or what you're actually
So I launched the YouTube channel 3 Steps.
The link is in the chat thing for you guys watching this.
And 3 Steps is me interviewing men that I think are great, and they are either thriving, they are successful, or they're confident, or they're a combination of. And these men are, in my opinion, badasses. Like, they are doing it right. And so I sit down with them and I interview them on masculinity, what it means to be a man, and the conversations of their point of view on being a man. Because my frame is this: there's no one right way. And if anything you've heard today, there's no one right way, right? So I want to give you examples, because I don't need you to be a clone of me, but I do need you to be the best version of you. And so I may not have all the tools. other men have tools that I don't have, and that conversation we were just having. So it's like, all right, great. Let me interview a bunch of guys, talk about masculinity, talk about being an adult, talk about thriving, success, confidence, and the story they went on, the arc, the trials and tribulations, and how they got to those places, how they got to the success, how they got to be the rock star they are, exactly a rock star on stage right now, on tour in Europe. Actually, he's in Egypt today. So like how did they get there, right? So by interviewing these guys, the last questions that I ask are, what are the 3 steps you would give, the advice you would give to a younger version of you? What would you tell yourself? Avoid these pitfalls, avoid these things, or do these things, do this stuff, and you'll have more success. You'll be thriving. You'll be more confident. And so that's the interviews. And so that's the YouTube channel. And I'm loading every week. Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays are the drop. And the idea is to give you examples. Now, on my birthday this month, the 31st, I'm launching the Thriving Masculinity website. And that's where I'm going to be doing the webinar on legacy. And I'll be doing the gauntlet, what we talked about. I'll be teaching the gauntlet on there. And also will be teaching core values. And basically giving everything that we do at Forge, my men's group, all the tools we have to be badasses on the planet. I'm going to give those to you guys. So it's a place for you to come and get the workshop, take the class, do the course, come to the webinars, come to the classes. And it's a place, it's a hub. And I'm trying to create a community on Facebook. It's called the 3 Steps Conclave. And it's where we talk about the videos you watched. And so if you have questions about that man, his life, what he's doing, if I can make sure every man's on there, they will be there on the Sunday call. Pardon me. And they'll be on the Sunday call, and we will answer your questions. So that's what I'm up to. Cool. I just change the world, man. Here's the thing. The workshops, I do workshops, right? And I got 10 or 20 guys in a room. That's 10 or 20 guys. That's 60 guys in a year, maybe, I want to reach a broader audience. I want to improve manhood out there. I want to redefine it. And that's what 3 Steps is about, and that's what Thriving Masculinity is about. I want to redefine it, and I want to give you guys as many tools and many options and many possibilities available to you. Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
So the links to the YouTube channel and the Facebook group are in the comment thing there. We'll add John to the group if you'd like to, and so that he can add the Facebook group once the website once he's launched that. And so this is it, guys. So I created the Freedom Group because I want to do the same thing. I want to reach out to more people without them having to, pay me money or come to, travel to Vegas or whatever first. I want to reach out. And in these interview series, I'll be interviewing people that I think are going to be very helpful to you guys. And if I brought John on here, it's because I think you guys should be on his stuff. So go check out those YouTube videos and get some traction on it. Get familiar with John and his questions and his guests. And then when the website's launched, you'll have the options there. And then, of course, the Facebook group. Get involved, because if you guys are just, I know there are so many people who just kind of sit and passively look at like self-development things and they think and they don't do. And get involved. It's both the whole, day-to-day things in your own life. Practice the stuff that John shared today, but also get involved in a conversation. Get involved in networking. Get involved with seeing new faces. Get involved in showing your face out there, even if it's on the message boards or on the Facebook groups. Because once it becomes part of your life, not just entertainment you put on when you're bored or when you're feeling lonely, but it's part of your communication on a regular basis, part of how you live. A lot of change starts happening without you even feeling like you're doing anything, because it comes as a result of that involvement. So please get involved in both my group, of course, and John's group, and everything. Everyone else is going to pop up that sounds interesting to you guys.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you very much for being on.
Yeah, man,
and thank you guys for watching. I'm going to be leaving this recording, of course, in the group. So any questions you might have if you're watching this recording later on, post them in the comments, and John or I or both of us will get to them as soon as we can.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
See you.
All right. And